Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
It's very good to be with you. Good evening.
Now, as I understand it, you are issuing a general health warning.
Well,
right?
we don't want to be too alarmist about this. We're not
Sure.
calling it a general health warning. We're thinking of it more as an awareness campaign at this stage.
Okay, and now what seems to be the problem?
Well, we think it's a virus. Epidemiologically, of course, the issues will be to judge the extent of it and to isolate it.
It's obviously been difficult to diagnose, hasn't
Well,
it?
we could diagnose it. We've seen it before. The issue here is that we're seeing it in parts of the community where we've never seen it before at all.
And what does that mean?
Well, it means that what we perhaps thought of as a natural immunity is no longer protecting people, which is quite dangerous.
I see. And where have you done the study? What sort of sample
The
group?
largest study we're doing is in the Canberra area, and in that area, as I say, we're seeing it in about 50% of the community traditionally, and we're now seeing it in the other 50%.
So now it's everywhere?
It's everywhere, yes, indeed.
Right. And where else is it?
Other than everywhere,
Yeah.
well, it's everywhere else as well.
Oh, both places?
Yes, both places, yes.
Right, I see. And what is it exactly? Do we know?
Well, I don't know how technical I can be
No,
here,
go ahead,
but
go ahead.
obviously it's called coalitionitis.
Coalitionitis.
Coalitionitis, and what it does is it causes an inflammation in the pericompromise. The pericompromise being, of course, a fibrous sac in which sits the policy gland. And
Glands secrete, don't they?
glands do, as you say, correctly, secrete. And if you put pressure on the pericompromise and that causes pressure
Secretes
on the
more.
gland, it'll secrete not only more, it will begin to secrete indiscriminately. So policy will be running out of it indiscriminately. Anything can happen.
So this is just to relieve the pressure? Really?
Just to relieve the pain, yes,
Yeah.
anything to relieve the pain.
So tell me, what are the symptoms and what should people out there look for?
Well, conventional symptoms, I suppose, headaches, fevers, some muscle pain.
And can you go a little green?
You can go very green, yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen this actually.
you would
yeah. You said 50% of the sample group have always had the
That's right,
condition.
yes.
Right. Are they immune?
No, they're not immune. They're perhaps carriers. They've got it and they've had it for a very long period of time.
So what do they do?
Well, if you've had it for a long time, you can find yourself saying things you haven't even thought. I mean, you can say
Things you don't believe?
Things you don't believe, things that don't make sense.
So do you contradict yourself, for example?
Well, yes and no.
And this has been happening in Canberra?
Happens in Canberra and has been happening for some time, yes.
So it shouldn't affect anyone else in
No,
theory,
it
right?
will affect everybody else. This is the problem.
Why is that?
Well, because that's where they come from, of course.
These viri.
These viri, yes, they're flying in formation in the Canberra area. You should watch the telly.
Thanks for joining us.
They're all over the place.